fresh out the bell here. I have the new 4K of Scream. Some Miramax titles finally starting to make their way to 4K, which is a good thing. Right off the bat, you'll notice this comes with the old like VHS poster for Scream, which I prefer. Although most people's probably more used to the more customary, just floating people around everywhere. More the well, I can't show that because my Scream 4 is actually a Canadian Scream 4. It just shows that, and I would go back to reference the poster style I'm talking about if you don't know what I'm talking about. But, I have the 5-film set for that. So, you know what I mean. But nonetheless, this is the more traditional, I think maybe the theatrical poster that came out at the time. It's kind of shiny, so that's good. I like shiny things. It's a slipcase, which is always good. And you got that underneath it. One thing I found out is when you open it up, though, I've already removed my digital code, by the way, so don't try to steal it. But it's a double 4K case, but it's just the 4K. It's not no Blu-ray with any old or new transfer on it. Maybe they figured you could just throw your old Blu-ray in there, or maybe they just went with the cases they had. But all you're getting here is the 4K disc and the digital code. Special features is a Bloody Legacy, Scream 25 years later, audio commentary with Wes Craven and writer Kevin Williamson, a production featurette, behind the scenes Q&A with the cast and crew. So basically, if you just want this 4K, that's why you want to get this one. And if you haven't seen Scream, I mean, basically it reinvented the slasher film in the mid-90s. I think this is like 96, I believe, is when this came out. Don't quote me on that. I believe it's 96, though. But that's when, 96. It kind of like came out, and it was a smart script at the time. And my previous review of Slum Party Massacre, the remake, I'm talking about how it was almost clever to an annoying level. This one got the formula just right. And I think a lot of people may not give it the credit it deserves now, because like so many things came out copying the format that it just kind of became annoying later on. But this one actually mixes it, properly with the comedic sense and the smart sense and the feeling that you're feeling something, different at the time it came out. Because this one here was a movie that was very self-aware, and it was self-aware of the way that people acted in previous slashers, and it played it to perfection. And we got a new iconic killer in Ghostface at the time when it came out. Of course, it was spawned sequels that would be kind of less over time, and you got your urban legends, and I Know What You Did Last Summers, and your countless other like knockoffs, and then there's even the cheap knockoffs, which were even worse than the more big budget knockoffs of this. But basically it's a town, so I think it's kind of a smallish town, best I remember. But somebody's murdered right at the start of it in a very graphic way with some movie trivia through in the mix there. And then it basically becomes a whodunit as we follow our final girl and all of her friends as they're being stalked and slashed in brutal ways, and till you finally reach a big reveal at the end. And if you've never seen it, which I can't imagine anybody watching this video that hasn't seen it, but if you haven't seen it, it's definitely worth seeing. It's one of the better, I think, horror films of the 90s. Personally, I love it, but I think over time maybe the sequels kind of watered it down a little bit. But as it stands, Wes Craven, you always got Nightmare on Elm Street, but you got this as well, to me, which, of course, the writer even deserves like a whole lot of credit here, Kevin Williamson, who I think he went on to do like a script, maybe Halloween H2O and stuff, which was kind of like a play on this when it came out. But if you're here just to know if it looks good, yes, it looks great. I always thought Scream looked good, even on the VHS days compared to a lot of other movies. But the 4K here, I'm going to try to get some stills and stick them in right here. But it definitely is worth the upgrade. It's good to see Scream finally make it to 4K. Hopefully the other Scream movies follow soon. If not, though, at least you have the original, and the original is probably the main one you want to have, because outside the original, I kind of just like the 1 and 4. I don't really care too much for 2 or 3. That being said, I do look forward to the new one. I hope they don't like kill off Sidney in the opening act or anything like that. But besides that, Scream still is one that I'm quite fond of, and it probably would make my list of top 10 slashers of all time. And I would give this release a 10 out of 10 if I was going to give it like a big scale rating. But as far as the actual film goes, it's a 5 out of 5 for me. I always love Scream, and I think that it maybe don't get the credit it deserves these days just because of all the stuff that came out after that. But it's definitely a good one. Buy this if you love Scream, or if you've never seen Scream before. It's a good one to pick up.